Welcome back, my friends, to another showdown between the Vampire Counts, who shall be led by a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, but get this, guys, he's going to be on foot. So continuing that Footlord meta, and we're going to be facing off against the Greenskins, who shall be led by Aerocrastic, and it looks like he's going to be bringing a Footlord as well. So I believe Azag, with his new crazy portrait looking extra hog wild up there, is going to be on foot as well. So it certainly should be a fun showdown. So again, guys, harkening back to the days of Warhammer 1. In the front line, it's going to be some Graveguard across the board, including the Sternsman, and the buffs are relatively minor. A little bit of a cost increase as well, but again, a little bit of melee attack and weapon strength here and there certainly adds up over the course of your whole force. So we have two groups of Graveguard with great weapons, including the Sternsman here in the middle. Pretty solid front line, especially considering they're going to be backed up by two White Kings, and White Kings are pretty good for the cost. I mean, these White Kings, I stripped them down to like almost nothing. So basically they're just bare bones kit. But look at that, 39, 53, 410 with a solid bonus versus infantry. Pretty good against Greenskins for sure, who are going to be spamming a ton of infantry. These bad boys only cost 500, so getting two of them is only 1,000. They have 3,200 HP, silver shields, and yeah, really good leadership by Undead Standard. So we have two of those guys. The Blood Dragon Vampire Lord as well, going to be here on foot. And basically I'm like, all right, let's get him. Let's get a big Death Star using Crypt Horrors and Graveguard and things like that. And from there we can use the Helm of Discord, which is one of the main reasons he's picked, and just debuff the entire Greenskin front line. So suddenly these Black Orcs and Savage Orcs, these powerful lads, you're basically going to have like zero melee defense and pretty low melee attack wherever he's fighting, at least. And man, look how cool that guy looks. Does he have a Vargulf on his shoulder? It's like a Vargulf, like shoulder pad or something going on there. Now in the back we have two Crypt Horrors as well. They got a minor buff to their melee attack of like +3, but you know, I figure with good mobility and kind of avoiding your opponent's focus fire, you can pull them in, you can cycle charge, you can apply poison, and plus if they're able to sit on top of like Black Orcs, they can do a ton of damage for sure. So we have a couple of those, two Corpse Carts, one of which is going to be the Corpse Cart with the Unholy Lodestone. So that has regeneration plus the Vigor Mortis for melee attack and melee defense. And we got a second Corpse Cart as well, which basically is just going to give melee attack and melee defense. So certainly makes the Graveguard much more efficient. You can see the stats here for the Sternsman. It's 39 and 50 right now, and for these guys it's 32 and 32. I believe they are affected by that buff, so it's quite nice. Two zombies as well for some screening and just bodies on the battlefield. One dreaded Black Coach here in the back. Black Coach very good against Greenskins. It's has a weird hitbox. It causes terror. It's good against infantry. It's just it's a powerhouse of a unit for sure. Now in the back I wanted to have a couple terror-causing units, but I wanted to go very off-meta. I didn't want any Vargulfs or like big targets like that. So just to get a second terror-causing unit, I do have Cairn Wraiths. And granted, Aerocrastic did bring Azag, so he does have Spirit Leech, so it's not going to be as good, but I figure if they're getting Spirit Leeched, at least it's not like the Black Coach or any of my other high-value assets getting Spirit Leeched. In the back, we do have one group of Blood Knights, the Knights of Red Keep, coming in pretty hard here to pressure the Greenskins, and they're great. They dominate Greenskin Cav units, they can kill Giants, they're good against Trolls, they have powerful charge against lightly armored infantry, can't ask for much more. So for the Forces of Arrow, it looks like it's going to be a skirmishing core of Goblin Wolf Rider Archers. A pretty good answer actually against Crypt Horrors and things like that. And you can see he's getting a nice opening salvo here against my poor Graveguard. And for his main line, it's going to be Black Orcs mixed with Savage Orc Biggins. Again, getting that nice anti-large there should be helpful against some of the monsters I have brought. In the back, there's a Daka core as well. Savage Orc Airboys again for the zombie summons, and it looks like in the back, Goblins as well, and two groups of Trolls, as well as a Giant, and it is going to be Azag on foot. Last but not least, he does also have a Night Goblin Shaman with Sneaky Stabbin and Gorkle Fix It. So pretty cool stuff. It's a good army. I mean, I think it's pretty heavily catered, probably against like Mortis Engines and Vargulfs and things like that because of the missiles and the Giant, but we'll see how it does against this this Footlord army, or kind of this foot-slogging force here. So some of the Blood Knights are going to be screening out. I figured, hey, they have shields. Let's have them take a couple shots while I advance, and then I can just pull back and force these annoying little goblins back, because they were actually starting to do some okay damage against my Graveguard, and obviously I don't want them to be taking too much damage before they have to fight the very tough, scrappy infantry here. That one Blood Knight literally taking all the shots from that Goblin core and surviving actually pretty efficiently. So Azag's going to be coming down the hill. He does have some sort of a banner. I think that's the one that gives poison attacks. I can't quite remember. I'll have to take a look over the course of the battle. Anyways, Black Coach is going to be surging forward. All the Vampires are going to be going forward. And I do pull both of my Crypt Horrors. And I see some Black Orcs over here. So I'm like, all right, let's get the Crypt Horrors going after the Black Orcs. And as soon as they get focus fired by the Savage Orc Airboys and things like that, we just fall back from there. So here comes the main battle line. Black Coach going to be pulling back a little bit, getting ready for the engagement. And we also have the White Kings coming in as well. So the White Kings should be very helpful here in this fight. Graveguard should win this matchup, considering they have a bonus versus infantry and they're pretty armored. Granted, it's still going to hurt pretty bad, the initial impact. But once the fighting does develop and go, actually, I don't know. Oh, it's because Azag's there as well. Here in the center, the Sternsmen fighting against the Savage Orc Biggins, and it looks like a pretty good fight considering the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord is there as well. And the Crypt Horrors are able to dogpile on top of the Black Orcs, who are taking massive damage from the AP of these great weapons back here, plus from these Crypt Horrors. So quite happy about the initial engagement in the front. One of the situations is a bit of a tough one considering Azag's there, but I do bring in the dreaded Black Coach to help out, and the White King and company, plus the better leadership on my forces. We are able to instantly break this off, so you can see in the center just the raw output here of the Stearnsman and the Graveguard, plus the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord and the White King, with Corpse Guard buffing, is pretty darn efficient. We're able to take out a couple, quote-unquote elite troops. Now, in the meantime, some of my Cryptors are being focus fired very heavily here by the Savage Orc Airboys, so I am going to be pulling back here, pulling those guys away from the arrow fire and just kind of using their mobility to avoid some of that punishment. Over here on the flank, we do have a fight between the Blood Knights. Blood Knights were able to come up and around here and did get a nice charge on the Trolls, making them pay the Troll toll, but I didn't want to stay here too long. The Archers can switch focus, things could get a little bit crazy, so we just leave the Cairn Wraiths, and there's no magic damage here, and the Cairn Wraiths will probably tear out off the Trolls, to be honest, so let's just kind of get away from here, reorientate the Blood Knights here, and maybe push them to the back line. So the dreaded Black Coach is still helping, and most of my forces are advancing now. We did summon some skeletons to chase down these Savage Orc Airboys. Still a nice firing core from the Greenskins over here on the far side. They're able to actually get some decent shooting and go into the Black Coach here. So I got to be careful and make sure I don't get trapped up. Granted, I think I do end up overextending here. And the White Kings are both still in okay shape. One of the White Kings a little bit trapped up here with his very beat up Graveguard, but the Graveguard plus the White King will lose this fight probably, but they should be able to hold. And we do also get an indication in the back against the Cryptors. And now we're going to be kind of overloading this flank. I saw that all the archers were over on this side a little bit, kind of in that U shape there. So let's kind of pressure here where there's no archer play really. In the meantime, we have the Duel of Duels, the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord hunting down Azag. And though Azag is a pretty powerful combatant, he has no chance against the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. So he's going to be going in, trying to take out the Greenskin leadership. I believe I'm a little bit faster, 38 against 36, so I should be able to catch him. But from here, we see the little Goblin, so he's just going to be getting the Vampire 2-for-1 here. So the White King plus the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, the Legacy of Aborash here, going to be karate chopping this Goblin pretty hard, as you can see he's going down. We have Graveguard and the Corpse Guard coming in. We should be able to get on the Savage Orc Airboys, but they're actually pretty efficient at kiting me. Graveguard are a very slow unit. They only have 27 speed, and these bad boys are rocking 37, so Arrow's been doing a really good job just kind of pulling back, and he was actually able to force me to overextend my Black Coach, so I kind of tried to chase into his archer line, but a couple Savage Orc Biggins did come back from route, and he was able to get a ton of damage on the Black Coach, so a bit of a scary situation, but nonetheless, the Cryptors over here, plus the support of the Cairn Wraiths and all these units, were able to get terror routes, push off the Trolls, and from here we do get the last of our Blood Knights, who had a pretty good fight here. They were able to lance down some of the Trolls before they got taken out by Spirit Leeches. Do jump in and actually stagger Azag, but at this point Azag's going to be getting just jumped by all these Strigoi creatures, these Cryptors jumping in, and Azag is certainly not going to be happy about this. They have great AP, they have poison, he's just going to be taking a beating for sure. You can see he's down to 1700, 1793 to be exact, and the Black Coach is going to be coming in as well. Greenskins, of course, a faction that do struggle pretty hard without their leadership, so going to be coming in here trying to goon that guy out, and you can see here we do have the Graveguard as well as the Cairn Wraiths just kind of tar pitting this giant. But, interestingly enough, like, you look at this build, right, and you're like, how would this build deal with, like, giants and Arachnarok spiders? I've found that some of these, like, Footlords in decent numbers, like a White King plus, like, Blood Dragon Vampire Lord or Vlad, for example, can actually do some decent damage against these big single entities, especially with some of the changes to, like, knockdowns and things like that that have been instituted here in this Potion of Speed patch. It's certainly not as bad as it used to be. So on the low ground here, Azag here going to be getting jumped by the Cryptors. Some nice focus fire coming in from the Greenskins as their Daka line reorientates itself and starts shooting in to the Cryptors right here. But you can see Azag is going to be paying the Troll toll, and yeah, he's at 92 leadership. That man is not happy as he is clubbed down in just a filthy pit of Cryptors. There are some Trolls coming back in, but yeah, the focus fire actually really doing quite a bit of damage, but the thing is I have a lot of tanky stuff left. I have the White King, I have the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. One of my White Kings, unfortunately, is fully trapped up over here, but he's been doing a good job, at least occupying a group of Savage Orc Biggins there. I don't know where the zombies went over there, but here you can see that the Giant is actually taking a lot of damage from the buffed White King and the buffed Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, who's going to be running over here now. But yeah, the White King, like, its combat stats are really strong. 39-53, and you're only going against 30 melee defense on a Giant as well, and some of the infantry, of course, getting those nice steady pokes. So the Cryptors are now going to be surging up the hill with the support of zombies. The archers have to run, and obviously they can't shoot while they're running, so let's get the Cryptors up there and send the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord down here to take out this giant. So the rear attack coming in, doing 500 damage. Man, almost tanking the leadership of that giant. It actually went down to like 0 for a second. In the Black Coach, there's not too many things left in this army that can really punish the Black Coach. There's some archers back here. There's not really any mass or like anything that can really just, yeah, stand up to the dreaded Black Coach as the Cryptors do surge in, fighting something that is a bit of a counter, but it's basically just buying time for me to goon the giant. Either White King unfortunately did fall on the far side. You can see the Savage Orc Biggins were able to kind of zerg him with the support of some of the goblins, but we do break off the giant here. It goes down actually rather quickly to the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord and the White King and all of the supporting Cairn Wraiths. And Corpse Guards. You like that Wookiee, don't you? Yeah, Wookiee's looking up at me. He's like, good job, man. You got that giant. And here you can see the corpse cart's going to be just rolling about, and that's still a lot of HP to deal with as well. But we do get some Graveguard. The Sternsmen, of course, regenerating, are able to get on top of the Savage Orc Airboys, and we do have Terror coming in here from the Black Coach. So honestly, just based on the circumstances here, it looks like it is going to be a mass terror route for the last of these Greenskin forces, as army losses does kind of trickle its way into this battle. So yeah, it's kind of like a Warhammer 1-esque build, right? Using the just the mass infantry, using like a Vlad von Karstein type character, Blooddragon Vampire Lord. I don't think it's going to be pertinent in every matchup, but I think the Potion of Speed and the Shadow and the Blade DLC did make it more viable. Those minor buffs to Graveguard and Cryptors and things like that certainly, and it also catches people off guard, right? Because people are so like used to playing vampire counts and playing against like Terragooses and Vargulf spam and just those like really abusive playstyles. So I don't know, it could catch people off guard. You see, I don't know if that's the thing, if it catches people off guard or if it's actually much better now. Because again, like, you know, most people are preparing like a ton of archers, which aren't going to be super efficient against like the infantry and things like that. So I don't know, it's hard to say. What I would change in this build, maybe in retrospect, I don't know. I'd like to get a second Black Coach because I feel like they're just really obnoxious against Greenskins. But yeah, something to think about. Maybe you could cut like one White King, get another Black Coach by cutting the Cairnmates as well. But yeah, I feel like it's a decent build for sure. There are obviously matchups in which playing the Gooning playstyle is still going to be exponentially better. But yeah, I'm happy to see that there's a couple matchups like Greenskins, probably against Beastmen as well. You can still play this way, and yeah, it works pretty well. And yeah, for Arrow's build, it was fun. Obviously, Azag is quite strong. You know, the Black Orcs and Savage Orc Biggins in the front line. I was really surprised at how quickly they got crumpled for sure. And from there, the Jaka line wasn't able to really sit and generate the value it wanted to. But yeah, it was really fun for sure. Trolls and Giants, all sorts of big scary stuff. And obviously the Trolls and Giants. Troll's pretty good against Graveguard if they're able to get on those targets, and the Giants can really beat down a lot of the single entities for the Vampire count. So yeah, some strong tools for sure. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Please check out Aerocrastic on YouTube. I know there's been a lot of games against him, but again, in early access, you only have so many people you can play against. This might be going up after the fact, but it was still a great game. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. So thanks again, guys, and yeah, see you in the next few days. Take care.